The citizens of Bumblyburg can sleep well once again. That's right. The world's greatest superhero, LarryBoy, is returning. Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side. Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Airy. Welcome to my vidcast StudioJake, where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And you know what? Growing up in the 90s, being a Gen Y, some people call us millennials, if you grew up in a Christian household, it was very rare that you did not hear about VeggieTales. It was created by a man named Phil Vischer, more on him later, and Mike Nowrocki. Now, these two men are no longer involved with VeggieTales. It was really sad. They ran Big Idea Productions from 1993 to 2015, I believe it was. And from the age of 5, that was me, 1993, my family collected all of those VeggieTales. And even when I became a teenager and kind of started to get disinterested in kid stuff, if I was babysitting or helping out in Sunday school, we would periodically put on the new VeggieTales. I remember going to see the first feature film, Jonah, a VeggieTales story, in theaters, and seeing the Pirates Who Don't Do Anything feature film on DVD when it was released. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the story, Big Idea Productions, and this is recounted in a book by Phil Vischer, Me, Myself, and Bob, which is a really good book. I highly recommend it. This was written pre his sort of change. Again, more on that later. But he details how the studio overstretched. They ended up going bankrupt, and they had to, and they were sued by a production company that was supposed to do editing for them, and a jury for some reason awarded that company a whole bunch of money, which that, among all the other factors, caused Big Idea Productions to go bankrupt, and they sold Big Idea's assets off. Now, originally a Christian company did try to buy it, but the court for some reason rejected their bid, and it was sold to DreamWorks Animation, which of course is owned by NBC Universal. Now, once the classic VeggieTales ended, then it became part of Netflix's lineup. They produced two VeggieTales shows: VeggieTales in the Sink, I think, or VeggieTales in the Kitchen, and VeggieTales in the City. It was made by Doug TenNapel, the Earthworm Jim guy. Listen, I love Doug TenNapel. I love his comic books. I love Earthworm Jim. I did not like how he handled VeggieTales. Just my personal critique. Again, no shade at him. He's an amazing writer. Just VeggieTales, for some reason, it didn't work well. Well, after those shows ended, TBN bought the license to it, and they had it for a while. They produced a new show. They did a VeggieTales podcast, all kinds of stuff. And Phil and Mike were still involved with the TBN production. I believe they were kind of involved, but Phil ended up starting a new studio called Jellyfish Productions, I think it's called, where now he uses puppets and whatnot. But there was a lot of stuff. I remember there was a LarryBoy animated series, which was more in line with like a Saturday morning cartoons. They did 3-2-1 Penguins, which I still think that was a mistake to this day. This was all prior to them going bankrupt. Well, now it appears that the contract with TBN has ended. So, like I said, DreamWorks Animation had sold TBN the licensing, and they did a show. I think it was just called the VeggieTales Show, and it ran for 3 seasons, I think. And then they also did a podcast. Now, it appears that that contract is up because they have just announced that, by they I mean Big Idea Productions, which again is still owned by DreamWorks Animation, still owned by NBC Universal. They announced that they are partnering with another Christian media group, Kingston Media, to produce a LarryBoy film. And I'm excited about this. I think that it's going to be fantastic. I think that it's going to be really good. I'm familiar with Kingstone Comics. They have decent art. Not all their stuff is, blow me away amazing, but they're a decent media company. They produce some good stuff, especially for families and kids. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be great. So this is according to movieguide.org. They are saying Big Idea Content Group and Kingstone Studios announced that VeggieTales is returning to the big screen in 2026 with a new movie starring the suction cup-eared superhero LarryBoy. VeggieTales is the absolute gold standard for faith-based children's animation. We couldn't imagine a better brand in providing a big screen treatment for kids than to bring LarryBoy and the cast of memorable VeggieTales characters back into theaters, said Art Arias, the CEO of Kingston Studios. Kingstone focuses on epic content, and Big Idea is the perfect partner for launching a new Larry Boy feature into theaters for families to enjoy worldwide. While details about the movie's plot have yet to be revealed, the company promise the story will follow the franchise's canon with a whimsical story filled with catchy songs. Larry Boy is a fan favorite. Who doesn't love a superhero that has plungers on the side of his head? The fans are always asking to see more of him. With Larry Boy in the lead role, we know we can deliver an entertaining movie for the whole family, said Leslie Farrell, Senior VP of Big Idea Content Group, Universal Pictures. Yeah, this is going to be exciting. VeggieTales 2 this day remains one of the largest Christian faith-based animation or animated feature of all time. Now, their feature films didn't do that well at the box office. In fact, a lot of people think that The Pirates Who Don't Do Anything was kind of a Hail Mary to try to save the company from bankruptcy. Unfortunately, it didn't work, and that's again why it got picked up by DreamWorks. And originally, this was thought to be an origin movie. So, according to Big Idea Fandom Wiki, it says that the original title of the film was Larry Boy Begins in a deleted post on the official VeggieTales X account. However, they later redid the post with the title simply being Larry Boy. So we don't know for sure if that is going to be the case. Now, one thing with this is it seems Phil Vischer has confirmed on his own Twitter X account that he will not be returning. And I hate to say this because I'm usually all about the creator maintaining the control over their property. However, at the end of Big Idea, before they got bought out, he did mismanage it a little bit. And he admits this. He's very open about this, especially in his book, Me, Myself, and Bob. In interviews he's done, he's very open about this. However, another reason is Phil Vischer has strayed way far afield. He's gotten involved with left-wing Marxist politics. He has really been pushing progressive Christianity as opposed to true Christianity. And by what I mean by progressive Christianity is Christianity infused in left-wing politics. Now, I'm of the opinion that Christianity should not be infused with any politics, and that includes left-wing. He's been very pro-abortion. He's been very involved in attacks on traditional masculinity. He did this bizarre thing where he reviewed the book Jesus and John Wayne and criticized people who like John Wayne for some reason, and which is really interesting. I grew up watching John Wayne films with my father. My dad never said, "Hey, John Wayne is like Jesus, be like John Wayne." My dad never said that to me. It was understood that John Wayne was portraying a fictional cowboy character. Absolute preposterous stuff like that. So, kind of like how Neil Gaiman has thrown fans under the bus with the Netflix adaptation of Sandman, I feel like maybe it's best that Phil Vischer is not a part of this project. Now, I don't know about Mike. Maybe Mike will return. I don't know what he's been up to lately. I do hope the original voice of Larry returns, and maybe Phil Vischer will return to voice Bob, although for the VeggieTales podcast, they did get a different voice actor for Bob the Tomato. And it is abundantly clear that it is because Phil Vischer, like I said, he has been mixing sort of Marxist politics with his Christianity and always finds some excuse for it. Oh, this certain random denomination did this, and here was their justification. Well, for one thing, that's appealing to authority, not appealing to biblical authority, but either way, I feel like maybe that is for the best. And again, I hate saying that because under normal circumstances, I do think that the creators should have control over what they are creating. But Phil Vischer, he mismanaged it, and he has certainly changed. He's not the Phil Vischer that I grew up knowing, and it pains me to say that. Now, that aside, I am very excited for this new VeggieTales entry. I plan on seeing it in 2026. I will give you more updates as we get more trickle information. Right now, all we know is that it is happening. Apparently, it was going to be called Larry Boy Begins. Now it's just called Larry Boy. Whatever the case may be for the eventual title and or plot details, I look forward to it because I think Kingston Media Group will do a fantastic job, and we'll just have to buckle up because we're going to be in for a wild ride through Bumblyburg. By the way, God made you special and he loves you very much.
I've been living life